I was not allowed to board them plane, my child. Anyway, don't mind how I look. I know with my headband and thing, I probably look like somebody coming out of the 80s. But I will have you know that I have just completed one of my workout videos. And by the way, you need to check it out. So if you have not checked out my other channel, I will put the link in the description. But let us now get back to this story. Anyway, so bear that in mind. Don't mind my outfit. That is me. Where I am at the moment, it is cold, so I decided to just pull on a jacket over my unitard and decide to do this. Tell you about this story right now. All right. So, first I must give you some backdrop to this story. This travel that I was denied boarding the plane at Heathrow Airport, that was meant to be my first travel back to Jamaica on my student visa. That is one. So that is one very important information that you need to bear in mind. Prior to that as well, you remember, I had not traveled to other destinations outside of Caribbean destinations. So it means that I did not have a US visa at the time. All right. So picture this. After I was here working, this was meant to be like my first trip back to Jamaica. So you know that this vacation was about to be lit. Yes, I had saved up enough money and was looking forward to going back for the very first time to Jamaica. And you know, as you look around, checking out travel, checking out like the plane tickets as you do, because you know that this is a travel channel and we have to be careful what we do. We want to travel smart, we want to travel cheap, but listen to what happened to me. Okay, so back to the story. So this was meant to be my first trip back. And of course, you know that traveling to Caribbean destinations, the tickets are very expensive. So, being I was just getting my little money, where I was only allowed to work 20 hours as a student, I was looking for the cheapest way to get home. Lo and behold, you have heard about connecting flights. Yes. So I looked online and there was connecting flights. No, it said one stop. I didn't even look about the one stop. It didn't matter me because I know it says, okay, connecting, and it said, okay, connecting in the US. No, I was not. Listen, I done my homework. I did all that I could on my part. So don't laugh. Just listen to what happened to me on this occasion. So this was the travel agent that I was booking everything through, happened to be an online travel agent. Mind you, when I contacted them, where I wanted to, like, you know, pay, before I actually paid for the tickets, I inquired of them. I said, look, I am going to Jamaica. I see where the plane is going to, you know, there's going to be one stop in America. Do I need a visa? Can you believe that the person, the agent, travel agent, actually told me, no, you're not going to come out of the airport any at all. So it means that you do not need to have a landing pass. You do not need a visa because you're not going on their premises. Yes, that was what I was told, and that was what I was going by. All right, so listen to this. So from my understanding, based on what was explained to me, right, online, I thought that I was safe, everything was okay. The travel agent actually said, the online travel agent said, I did not need to have a visa because I was not going to go outside. I was just going to connect on another plane, so I only needed to be in the airport itself. So when the person told me this, the agent said, are you ready to pay now? I was really, really excited. Mind you, this was traveling, probably I didn't say it, but this was meant to be traveling over the Christmas period. So everybody was excited. I don't know if commission was involved or anything like that. So I would imagine that, selling as many tickets as possible was the key thing. And I have to say, I'm not going to tell you the accent that the person had, who the travel agent who I was speaking to, but just to say the person did not have a British accent whatsoever. However, because this was like an online thing, I just saw the ticket, there was contact number, and I just called up. I made my enquiries, and as far as I was concerned, everything was okay. So the gentleman said, "Are you ready to pay now?" I got so excited, and I'm not going to tell you, I was paying on a credit card. So this was not money. I was saving all my money. You're going back home, so you want to have a little money to spend and everything like that. You're going to have a little extras to buy up stuff when you're coming back. So I had my credit card, and I was happy to pay the money from my credit card. I was so excited. So when I told the gentleman, the normal thing, the card details for them to take the money off, I said, "Okay, did it work this time?" He said, "No, you need to try another time. Let's try another time." I can tell you now, I know that it was probably the good Lord trying to say, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it." I can tell you that perhaps that's why it did not work the first time. But did I listen? No. So we tried again the second time. The gentleman said, "Tell me the long card number," and everything else, everything that they tell you, that requires of you when you're going to make that payment. The second time, everything went through. So as far as I was concerned, yeah, I was on my way back home. I was going to live it up this Christmas. I was going to have the best Christmas ever. And let me tell you, because I was looking forward so much, and because I had intended to spend the Christmas in Jamaica, sorry, that I did not prepare for anything, any Christmas stuff whatsoever for the UK. So when everybody was busy stocking up for their Christmas, what was I doing? I was busy stocking up, buying all the necessary little stuff that I would need when I go to Jamaica. So people here were preparing for one type of Christmas, and I was preparing for Christmas in the sunshine. All right. So we paid, back to the story. I paid the money, and I said to the gentleman, "Okay, how will I get the ticket?" The gentleman said to me, "The ticket will be waiting for you when you get to the airport." So lo and behold, I did not even get a ticket. The gentleman said, "The ticket will be waiting for you at the airport." Which plane was I going to travel on? Virgin Atlantic. So in my head, the ticket will be waiting for me at the airport. I was talking in my head. Remember, guys, this was the first time I was going back to Jamaica. And remember again, I said prior to that, I had only traveled in the Caribbean countries. So remember, what I'm telling you is a long time ago. Long time ago. Remember, I have been in the UK for 22 years, and I'm talking about my student visa. So that's a long time ago. So don't laugh to say, don't you know how stuff work, that you should have gotten the ticket, email stuff, and, ray. No, let me tell my story. Okay. So the gentleman said, when you go to the airport, the tickets will be waiting there for you, so you do not have to worry. So in my little head, everything was fine, because I knew exactly when the flight was coming, when the flight was due to take off and everything. Because remember, I was the one who looked up the travel stuff online, so I knew so I knew the time of the flight and everything like that. And you know, if the travel agent said, girl, your ticket is going to be at the airport waiting, so you only need to get there a bit earlier so that you can collect your ticket, then I don't need to question that. No, I don't need to question that, because if I'm talking to a travel agent and the travel agent said, girl, your ticket will be at the airport, I expect the ticket to be at the airport. Oh, I thought now that everything was fine. I was busy making arrangements for people to collect me at the airport because, listen, I was going to live it up on my student visa that I've saved my money for. So I know I'm going to have some fun. Hard-earned money as well, you know. All right. So the day came for me to take this flight. I did everything. I got up really, really early. Got to the airport very early as well, you know. And I look around. I saw information. Virgin Atlantic. You know those little information stuff that you see. So I walk up to them with my suitcase, ready, stocious as well, you know, because I'm going to take a flight, mate. And while everybody was going to be in the cold, I am looking forward to have some fun in the sunshine. So I walked up to the information desk and I declared myself. I said the exact name of the travel person who I was speaking to on the telephone. It was a very long name. I wrote it down though. So I wrote down the name and I showed it to the person, because by now I had a text message, right? So I had the person's name. So I walk up to them and I said, okay, I am here to collect my ticket, please. So you know when they say, okay, can I have your name, please? Okay, I told them the name. The person did look a bit surprised, but you know when people are trying just to be polite, so they take my name, pretended like, I don't know if they were pretending, perhaps laughing as well, looking up my name on the computer, and they said, sorry, nothing is here for you. I am like, no, but I was told to collect my ticket here. I've paid for my ticket. This is the flight that I'm going to take, XYZ. So they started asking me some questions, because I think they could see the shock on my face. Because after paying, after saving, mind you, I said that I had paid now by credit card. All the other money that I have was for spending. So as you do, you use the credit card to pay for the flight, and the rest of the money, you carry that for spending, for spreeing. Okay, so I think they could see the shock on my face. So they started saying, okay, what's the name of that person, XYZ? I showed them the name of the person. They said, ma'am, we don't have anybody here working. Nobody here who works here has that name. I was like, no, but I was speaking to that person. I spoke to that person up to 2 days, 2-3 days back. I can't recall how long now, because, I was trying to tell them when I had actually paid for the flight, so I thought that everything was okay. They said, we are sorry. Nothing is here for you. I turned and I said, how am I going to get back my money? How do I make a complaint? The person at the help desk said, look, if you had booked the flight directly through Virgin Atlantic, we would have been able to help you. But as it is, because you did not book the ticket, you did not book your flight directly through Virgin Atlantic, I'm afraid we will not be able to help you. What we would suggest is that you get back in touch with the agent online. Okay. Needless to say that I was deflated. I was to the point of almost crying. I did not cry though. I'm a big girl. Come on, I don't cry. I don't cry. Okay. So can you imagine? After building up everything, my hopes, everything, I was left deflated. Because one, people who I had left back home, meaning here in the UK, they knew that I was not going to spend holiday in the UK because I'm going to Jamaica. People in Jamaica were waiting, getting excited. Preparation was made for people to come and meet me at the airport, and now nothing. Can you imagine the embarrassment, the shame? Now I'm going back home with my suitcase all packed, nothing touched. I did not even get to close to the plane door, and I was meant to be going on this plane. Anyway, I went back home. But before I went home, I tried to contact this so-called agent. What do you think? Nothing. Nothing at the other end. It's as if that person did not exist any at all. I don't know if I was blocked or anything, but I could not get the person at that time. Mind you, to be fair, this was on a Saturday, right? Yeah, I think it was on a weekend. So perhaps, they were closed or something like that. So I said, okay, since I was not going to get on the flight, let me just make my way back home and I will get in touch, the next day with this person. All I wanted at this point was to get my money, because now I know the plane was leaving and I was not going to be on that plane. There was nothing for me I was not going to have my sweet, sweet time in Jamaica. All that was left. I remember I did not shop. I did not shop for Christmas in the UK, because as far as I was concerned, I was meant to spend Christmas in Jamaica. Anyway, so I went home, and for that whole night, of course, I was deflated. But it's like I was playing everything back in my mind. And I could remember that when I actually paid for the ticket, the gentleman clearly, when he saw when he heard how excited I was, he actually said, "Do you believe in God?" That's what he said, Do you believe in God? We all need a miracle. So now I'm looking back and I'm saying, okay, he knew exactly what he was doing. I don't know if he was going to get commission or anything like that. But if you notice, he said clearly to me, "Do you believe in God? We all need a miracle." So in my mind, I'm thinking, and perhaps you are thinking the same thing. He's saying it's going to take a miracle for you to get on that flight, because he knew from the start that it was never going to happen. I was never going to be on that flight. Anyway, that was out of the way. All I was determined to do now was to get back my money, because remember, this was credit card money. This was not my money, and I will still have to pay back that credit card. Anyway, I don't quite remember if it was the day after or at some point. It must have, knowing me, it would have been the exact day after, unless it was Christmas, and everything like that. When I rang the number again. This time, it was a different person who picked up the phone. The person said, okay, when I told them who I wanted to speak to, they said, that person is not available, but how can I help you? So I outlined the situation to this other person who picked up the phone. And all the person said was, okay, I will let the person know, I will pass on the message. I rang another time. And it's as if each time I rang, I was getting a different person. It was always like a different person picking up that phone. And I was getting nowhere whatsoever. Because now the final person who I spoke to, that person was saying, but there's no way that you would have been able to get on that flight. And I'm not sure if anybody here would have given you such an information. So to add injury to insult, you realize that they were now calling me a liar. They were now calling me a liar. I got angry. But have you ever been angry? Angry because one, you know that there's nothing you can do about the situation. Angry because now the money, remember I said it's a credit card money. Yes, you remember that point? This is credit card money, so I still have to pay it back. I was losing money. But in that situation, this person, the agents, there was no way of getting to them directly, meaning physically. I didn't even know what country they were in. All that happened was that I saw the ticket, the flights online after looking up for cheap flights to Jamaica. I saw a contact number and I called. In my little mind, I was speaking to Virgin Atlantic. That's what I thought. All along, I did not know that these, when you're seeing all of these little things online, it doesn't mean that directly you are going to speak to these people directly. You actually have agents as well who put out their advert and you are linked to them, right? You're still going to get on the flight, but it's not through Virgin Atlantic direct per se. Because of course I did not, now I know, sorry, that you have to go directly on the Virgin Atlantic website if you are going to book a ticket through Virgin Atlantic direct. Okay, so that was the situation I was in. I was left one out of pocket because, yeah, remember, I would have to give up at some point, isn't it? Because I don't know where these people are located. I just did it online. I have parted with my money, and now they are saying they don't know how anybody would have given me such advice. So it means that they were taking themselves out of it, and on top of that, I was not getting back my money. I learned the long, hard way. Wouldn't you agree? And I think that, so I parted with my money. And psychologically, you know, it has affected me. Because whenever I hear about connecting flight, I'm like, I'm not connecting anywhere. I am going straight. I am going direct. If I'm going to XYZ, I'm booking directly through the airport, through the airline itself. So I know that, yes, because of what has happened in the distance past, now it has affected me because I lost my money, and if you realize it was money that I did not have because I still had to pay back all of that. So yeah, you understand, yeah, I was not allowed to go on that flight, but I should not be allowed to go on it anyway because I did not have the necessary ticket to actually go on the flight itself. I learned my lesson, and I hope you see, all of you who like to talk about connecting flight, we're always looking for cheap flight. Just be aware. Don't laugh too much. Yes, I know that you have more sense than me, but it could have happened to you as well.